The Book of Mormon begins with a faith-promoting journey. We offer a few personal photos to compare with Nephi's descriptions. First Nephi lays the foundation for understanding the Book of Mormon, with visions, brass plates, trials of faith, and family attitudes that define the troubled history of Lamanites and Nephites. While we do not know exact locations, we see how the Lord prepared this dry landscape to bless Lehi's family as we follow him on the trail through Arabia. These statements suggest the general direction of travel. Nephi mentions 5 places they pitched tents in these general locations. They likely had camels to carry heavy Bedouin tents. Our narrative begins with a 3-day journey from the top of the Red Sea. Assuming 25 miles per day for a camel caravan, we seek a valley and river about 75 miles down the coast. That is precisely where we find this gravel riverbed among the mountains. Let's continue westward towards the sea. We find grazing to support a herd of camels, key to desert travel. About 3 miles from the sea, the valley narrows into a dramatic canyon with high walls. Lehi might find them firm and steadfast and immovable, admonishing Lemuel to aspire to such qualities. In the canyon is a truly rare find in dry Arabia, flowing water. Moving down the canyon towards the sea, we find spots of lush vegetation and that beautiful stream. This opening appears where the impressive cliffs butt up against the Red Sea. Conditions seem to fit Nephi's description of the Valley of Lemuel. We met a hunter looking for gazelle. In former times, the white oryx also provided good hunting. When it was time to move on, the Liahona helped set a 4-day course deeper into Arabia, to Shazar in a southeast direction. Perhaps not Shazar, but hidden in the vast wilderness are more fertile parts like this. Imagine the thrill of finding such greenery. And another rare flow of water quite distant from the coast. People fill water jugs from the mountain spring. Over 100 miles further southeast, we find Al-Ulah's rich date groves. This pattern continues with periodic fertile parts amidst dry desert. Quite a respite from travel fatigue. Further southeast is Medina with its famous dates. Through such areas, Lehi might continue many days towards taller mountain ranges down south. Mountains that take your mind off the desert for a while. These high elevations may be where Nephi's bow breaks. Researchers near here have found wood flexible enough to make a new bow. It felt a bit like Colorado. Lehi may have stayed in the flatter desert fringes to avoid this rough terrain as Nephi hunted in the mountains. Soon enough, the terrain reverts to desert hardship as we near the Yemen border. Many areas are so barren that mud brick is the only building material. I have no photos of Nahom due to the ongoing war in Yemen. However, researchers previously explored the area. On YouTube, you can find Journey of Faith to see how Nahom fits Nephi's history as the family grieves Ishmael's death. Then the party moves eastward. This may have been the toughest part of the journey, rugged and dry. So let's jump right to Bountiful. Nephi cites seashore, mountains, much fruit, and wild honey. He needs shipbuilding materials and ore to make tools. We feel galaxies away from the desert. Arabs from drier places vacation here in the rainy season. The local museum has a model of the topography indicating how mountains catch monsoon rains to form a green coastal oasis, with very dry landscape just beyond to the north. Compare shots taken in the same spot in the wet and dry seasons. Even the drier one has more vegetation than most of Arabia. Nephi's brothers threatened to throw him in the depths of the sea. That's hard to do from a sandy beach, but easier from a rocky crag. Beach and cliffs alternate along the Dhofar coast. The water was most refreshing. Desert travelers would call this bountiful in all capital letters. Swim in an Arabian waterhole. This was taken in the dry part of the year. The scene is doubly glorious when rains create endless fountains. And much fruit. The coastal zone supports year-round agriculture, herds of grazing cattle, fruit, and wild honey. This coast satisfies Nephi's account, so various shipbuilding locations are plausible. Suggestions include an ancient port on the right and a more remote river valley to the west. My main point is that terrain unexplored by Western eyes when the Book of Mormon was published confirms that Nephi knew this place firsthand. The stark geography has fertile parts and bounty right where he says they should be. Even camels are plentiful here. This one enjoys more water than most camels ever see. One final note. These photos represent my personal journey, yet I take no credit for discovering these beautiful places. Listed here are a few fascinating sources for more background. Thank you for joining this journey.